Good morning. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning. Welcome to your elementary B social study class. We're going to start. And today's goal, as you might know already, is explaining the Spanish conquest. Chun, chun, chun. So you had a video and you had to try to catch some of the answers of why were the Spanish able to conquer us so easily, right? So we had learned together the first one, which was the smallpox, right? So this virus that was already in, it's not, of course, something that the Spanish thought of. They didn't plan, ha 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 ha, ha we're gonna have a virus. No, it was, they didn't know either what was happening, okay? So after the video, I hope you got some of these new answers. So the first one, yay, horses. So yes, as you saw in the video, the Incas were very impressed for this because they thought, wow, what is that animal? And when they saw the Spanish on top of the horses, they thought, wow, these men have 4 legs. So they thought they were part of the horse, because they've never seen something like that. So they were like, wow. And they are so powerful because they can control this beast. So it was very, very, very shocking for them to see this going on. The second reason why the Spanish did so good also was because of the weapons they had, like the gun you can see over there and also the swords. So because they had these, it was a bit easier. Remember that the Incas did have an army, so they have rocks and they had some type of spears, but they were good and they were not really as sophisticated as these weapons, right? They have much sophisticated weapons because they have been in previous wars elsewhere. The other reason it was because they thought the Spanish represented Viracocha. So they had this thunder god who was called Viracocha, and he was mostly represented kind of white. So when they saw the Spanish, they thought, oh, so they're Viracocha. So Viracocha was supposed to help the Incas. So that's why they were so friendly, right? So at the beginning they came and they were so friendly. So the other thing that the Spanish did is they created alliances. Remember the people that have fear of the Incas Empire, or the people that felt like it's so unfair, it's so unfair? Well, the Spanish made an alliance with them and they were like, oh, you don't feel happy with the Incas? You might want to join me. And they thought, oh, okay, so maybe this could work. I can help these white men and we can end the empire. So that's what they thought. That's why the Spanish did not only have their soldiers, but they also had a lot of Inca population and warriors even on their side. Okay, so these were some of the reasons that gave the Spanish this advantage into defeating the Incas. Chun, chun, chun. So in the end, like I said, your notebook should look like that. Should look like this with all the answers. I added the drawings because I like trying to draw, but you don't have to if you don't want to. As long as you have all of these ideas, if you already have some of them, check, 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 check. The Spanish came here, right? And the question is, what did they want? Why were they here? So well, the Queen sent these missions all over the world in order to turn people into believing in their religion. Okay? So that's why they went and they had to help the people understand this religion that they have, and they had to switch from what they believed into what was believed over there, okay, in England at the time. So remember that we talk about worship. That means when you adore something, right? When you feel like you have a god or gods. And well, of course, the Incas had their own god, and it was the god sun, right? So the thing is that the Spanish were supposed to be here in order to help the people realize that there was a true god, a different god from the one they believed in, and that they had to worship that new god. But what happened is that when these men that were supposed to come here for that realized that this population had a lot of gold, well, the purpose changed a little bit. So they were like, I can get all this gold. So the mission had a twist. It was no longer only about religion, but it was mainly about getting the gold. So again, back to that episode, right? So Atahualpa is right there. He finally meets the Spanish, and they show him the Bible. So when they show him the Bible, they told him, this is God. This is God's word. So Atahualpa took it. He had never, seen a book or anything. So he took it and he was like, I don't understand this. What is this, And then the priest told him, in here we have God's words. So Atahualpa said, let me hear. He said, I don't hear anything. There's nothing here. There's nothing. And then he explained to him a little bit about his religion. And Atahualpa said, no, the real God, is the sun. Because I can see the sun, I can feel the sun feeds all my plants, I can't see your God. And the priest said, but our God sent his son to die for all of us. And Atahualpa said, well, that's not a very good God, because why will he send his son to be killed? That's being mean. My God is not mean. But then the priest also told him, but you, for your God, you sacrifice women, the virgins, you sacrifice them. So they started in like this discussion, and that's when Atahualpa said, you know what? This has no meaning for me. Like, this is nothing. There's not a God in here. There's nothing. This is worth nothing. And then that's when he threw the Bible away. So that made this priest furious, of course, because he was insulting his religion, something that was very precious for him, right? Because you could think, oh, he's good. Oh, no, he's good. No, he's bad. No, he's bad. And remember, guys, people can be good and bad. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter what you believe in or not. Sometimes people from a specific country can do things good, and the same people from the same country can do things bad. So you have never, ever, you have to create in your mind this idea that there's somebody who's good and somebody who's bad, depending on their color, skin color, on their religion, or the country they're from. No, because we always have good people and bad people. It doesn't really matter what they believe on or not, because that's how people are, okay? So don't ever make a judgment like that. Like, oh, the Spanish were mean, or oh, the Incas were mean. Remember, good things and bad things. Good people and bad people. That's just how it is and how it happens, okay? So that's what happened. And of course, he was furious. The priest was furious. So he said, you know what? That's it. Get him. And we're going to see what happened. Okay, so when they said, get him, they did, right? All the Spanish army went, let's get him. And there was blood everywhere and people were dying. And finally, they managed to capture Atahualpa, right? They caught him. And they dragged him, and they put him in jail. So Atahualpa was in jail, right? And then when he was in jail, the Spanish start talking to him like, why don't you want to believe in God? And what's all you have here? And so on and so on. And then they told him, is that made of gold? And he was like, yes. And they were like, oh, so you have a lot of gold? And Atahualpa said like, yes, we do have a lot of gold. And that's when Atahualpa thought, oh, so I think these guys want gold. So he told them, if you let me free, if you set me free, I can give you gold, all the gold you want, up to this height. I can fill all this room with gold. So the Spanish said, okay, how much time do you need? And he said, only 2 Quilla nights. Remember that Quilla is moon, right? Only 2 Quilla nights. So they were like, oh, okay, so you're going to have 2 nights to fill all this room with gold and we'll set you free. He was like, okay, it's a deal. And then he started gathering all the gold that he you know, like all the workers, they got the Sapa Inca crown, they got until they filled a whole room with these gorgeous golden things. So Atahualpa was like, okay, you can come for your gold. It's all here. And the Spanish, when they saw the gold, they were like, yay, it's gold. But we're not letting you go anyway. So what happened is that they just wanted to get Atahualpa's gold, but they weren't really planning to set him free, because if they sent him free, he could ask for all the Inca army to come together and try to fight the Spanish, right? So they said, no, we can't. So they asked him, do you want to turn into our religion? He said, no. Do you want to do it? He said, no. And then they said, if you don't do it, we're going to kill you and we're going to set fire to you, you know? And the thing is that nobody in the Incas Empire wanted to be set fire, because if you were set on fire, you would not be able to go back to your ancestors. It was like the worst way to die. So he was like, okay, I'll turn into your fate. I will. And they did a ceremony and they interned him, but they didn't keep up with their words either. So what they did is, in the end, they fired Atahualpa. So that's how Atahualpa died. So the Spanish now had all the control over the Incas Empire. And what happened is that somebody new came into our story, and that somebody new is somebody called Rumiñahui. So Rumiñahui, he was a cacique, and he was calling everybody. He was like, hey, I need all the Inca army, blah, blah, blah. And they came and they were like, we have to take revenge because they killed Atahualpa. We have to save the Incas Empire. And they said, yes, let's go. And they went, and they went into a huge fight with the Spanish soldiers. It was huge. And even though they tried hard, in the end, the Spanish told Rumiñahui, okay, tell us, where does Atahualpa hide all the gold? Where is all the gold? Because they thought, wow, if he could give us a whole room full of gold, he must have much more somewhere else. And Rumiñahui said, no, I will never tell you. And they were like, no, you are going to tell this. Because by this time, they had already put also Rumiñahui in jail. And he said, no, I won't. And they said, okay, if you're not going to, then we're going to kill you too. And they also set fire to Rumiñahui. And they also killed him. So that's where the legend started about where is Atahualpa's gold. So apparently, Rumiñahui had hidden a part of Atahualpa's treasures. Also, Atahualpa did when he knew the Spanish were coming. And up until today, nobody knows if that's just a legend or if really there's somewhere where there's a lot of gold that Atahualpa hides. Okay, so what happened in the end is that all the survivors from the Incas Empire, they went to a special valley. They went to Vilcabamba. Vilcabamba, that's what it means, the valley of the resting gods. It's because that's where all of them went, the ones that were left, actually. And your individual work for this class is very interesting. You're going to have to record yourself telling me the story of the fall of the Incas Empire. Now, the challenge here that it can only last up to 30 seconds. Okay, so you have to start from Huayna Capac's death. To give you a little example of how you can do this challenge, I'm going to record myself. Remember, you don't need to do it exactly like I do. You do not need to tell me the same things I do or have any drawings. This is just one way to do it. I'm going to show you right now. Okay, here I go. So, Huayna Capac had two sons. He had Huáscar and Atahualpa, but Atahualpa defeated Huáscar, so Huáscar died. So Atahualpa was the new Sapa Inca. When he was the Sapa Inca, Chasqui came running. He said, oh my God, I saw the metal god. So he said, oh my God, what do you want? And he would like, turn to our religion. He said, no. So they were like, okay, you're going to jail. He said, how do I get out of jail? And they were like, you can give us a room full of gold. And he was like, okay, here you go. Are you going to set me free? And they were like, no, sorry, we're going to set fire to you. So he died. So then Rumiñahui came and he was like, I'm going to protect all the gold. But they set fire to him again and he died. So then the Spanish conquered everything. Remember to tell me the whole story. I love you, baby. Send you kisses. Bye bye.